evening and good to have you with us on this edition of the Urban Debate. Viewers, tonight we start off with a very interesting story. Story about an activist, Fatima Rahman, who's actually been in several controversies down south in Kerala and has now gotten into another controversy again. Now, what has happened is that this activist from Kerala, mother of two, uploaded a video of her and her children on her own YouTube channel and on her own social media accounts. This video shows her two children, minors, painting her semi-nude body. They're going about drawing and painting as she lies down. And this video, it's about a little less than 2 minutes, was then uploaded on her accounts and on her YouTube channel. But there has been a widespread controversy over it. As the video went viral on social media, it upset a few people. And now this activist has been booked under the POCSO Act. So essentially, while she was actually trying to say, let's normalize our bodies, let's not be ashamed, and not everything about a woman's body is meant to be seen with a sexual view, with a sexual connotation. Why should it not be okay for her children to draw and paint, to just be comfortable around her in that fashion? Her argument is nudity is not necessarily obscenity. Now, she's been booked and she is now fighting for some amount of relief. She has not gotten any relief in the Kerala courts. She is now knocking at the doors of the Supreme Court. Rehana Fathima has been booked under the POCSO Act for use of child for pornographic purposes. She's been booked under Section 15, which is storage of pornographic material involving a child. She's also been booked under the IT Act because this content has been digitally shared, for publishing or transmitting a clip depicting children in sexually explicit act. Now, her argument is, unless and until the act is provoking or triggering somebody's sexual reaction, how can it be obscene? And her argument is, if the video of children painting along with their mother is triggering a sexual reaction in you, then you are the one who's pervert. There is nothing wrong in what she has done. So I'm simply asking this question. Does nudity per se constitutionally, is it categorized as obscenity when it's put out there? Is it different when it's put out on a billboard, when it's in a movie, or when it's on your own YouTube channel, or on your own social media account? What is really where do you draw the line between the legality and the morals and the ethics that people might have, their own subjective view about it? So let's say good evening to the panelists who are joining us right now. Deepa Rahul Ishwar, also an activist, Prashant Sugatan, technology lawyer and legal director for SFLC.in, Annie Raja, leader for CPI and General Secretary of the National Federation of Indian Women, Yogita Bhayana, a social activist, and I have Ranjit Marar, who is an advocate with the Supreme Court, and he represents Rehana Fathima in this case. Ranjit Marar, let me start with you. When was this case filed, and what is now your argument for relief for Fathima?
Video, two crimes were registered. First, by virtue of a complaint registered given by one of the lawyers, a right-wing lawyer, before the Tiruvalla police station, that's in Kerala, in the Pathanamthitta district. Thereafter, the police also took up, or rather they have claimed that they have seen the video, and therefore they thought they need to register another crime, and they registered another crime in the Ernakulam district. Therefore, there are two crimes, and now they say they have been clubbed together. Therefore, anticipating arrest in a case which she thought was only to satisfy the mob cry or the public demand, she preferred an anticipatory application before the High Court. The High Court has dismissed it, saying that the offences probably is made out and her custody is required for the purpose of the investigation, which according to us is non-existent, or rather illegal insofar as the offences are not made out. There is maybe, yes, there is some nudity part involved in it, but she's a performing artist and the art cannot be considered to be so obscene. It would attract any of the criminal liabilities, or rather, rejecting an application for anticipatory bail. Rejecting the application for anticipatory bail, the court has observed so many a number of things which court has traveled beyond its borders in while discussing an anticipatory bail. Therefore, we have moved the Supreme Court under Article 136. Yes.
No, you say this is art, but then is it fair to drag in the children? Does it really have to be art that involves minors, little children, and that also nude
Yeah,
art?
let us understand. Presuming that you have also seen the video, what is available in the video is the body painting being conducted by the boy. The girl was also available at the house. It's a bedroom where in the body art was being performed by the son, who is, yes, let us be very clear on this. The son is also a minor. Now, when the body art is performed and it is broadcasted, she is not nude in the sense that any of her genitals are being exposed, and she is not receiving any sexual gratification out of this. There is nothing indecent with regard to the representation of the children. Let us be very clear on that. In which event, there will not be any penal offences attracted under the POCSO Act. So far as Section 67B, which is the Information Technology Act, is concerned, the child, there has to be indecent or obscene representation of the children. Then only the offences would get attracted. Section 75 also of the Juvenile Justice Act, which is also charged at this point of time in the FIR by the police. The thing says about abuse of the children, so that it is so unnecessary that it exposes the child to unwarranted situations, which is also not there. Let us understand the situation from the perspective of the child as well. We cannot have a discussion based on what we adults think about what children want to pursue. Now, if we understand how the children are to be educated, we have to be very clear. Only because it happens to be the body of a female, it cannot be said to be obscene thing. The obscenity, unfortunately, does not is not defined under the penal code. Only similar expression we can find is indecent representation of the Women's Act, which came in 1986, and the Supreme Court has always said it cannot be. If you read the entire message along with what is the message which is sought to be given, then there is no question of any obscenity or the indecent representation of the children at all in this case. High Court, unfortunately, that is where hurts our conscience. High Court, unfortunately, gone to narrate the responsibility of the mother in consonance, or rather in what the Manusmriti says or what the Quran says. It does not look at the present scenario in which there has been a total discrimination of women's body with regard to our gents' body. Then certainly in Kerala, if you recollect, in Kerala, women of the lower caste, so to say, had to pay these breast taxes to have their body covered at some point of time, when the upper caste never allowed them to wear these the jackets and the clothes to cover their chest. That is where our history is. And now when you say this is nudity and abuse of the children, where is the question of the children being available online at all? If I portray myself semi-nude, I can wear my shorts and my children are available and I upload a video, it would not be an offense at all under the POCSO Act. But my wife does it, it becomes an offense. That is the worst part insofar as gender discrimination is concerned. Yep.
That is true. That would happen. You could get your chest painted. You could sit there without a shirt and get your children to paint you. I don't think anybody will object to that. Let me bring in Annie Raja, leader of the CPI and General Secretary of the National Federation of Indian Women. Annie Raja, okay, I'm just going to go to her in just a bit, but let me bring in Deepa Ishwar as well. Deepa, what's your view? Should she have been booked? Is it indecent? I mean, when you watched it, did you feel that, oh, what's going on? This is wrong?
Yeah. First of all, I would like to clarify that one of the happiest people to see these debates or to know that this is being debated on national media would be Rehana herself. I'm sorry to put this across so bluntly because I honestly feel that this was all a publicity stunt. You can glorify and say all you want that she was trying to break the norm and all of that. But to be honest, I think it's just about being discussed and getting all the attention. She's proven it in the past as well. So that's very clear. But if you're going to go into the details of why this was done, she says her first argument is that this is sex education. Okay, so tell me this. If it is sex education, just a very simple question. Why was she semi-nude? Why not completely nude? Sex education is not about just being semi-nude, or that's, you get what I mean, right? So clearly that's not the agenda. It was just to create a spark so that there is a lot of discussion around this. There is a lot of debate around it, and people will talk about it. So clearly her idea was not sex education. She does it first. She gets into the controversy first and then tries to find justifications to it. That is what Rehana and her husband has been doing. So she's not saying it's sex education. Secondly, my respected panelist, the advocate who has been talking for her, has been saying that she's not exposed any genitals. My question to you, sir, why not? Why has she not exposed genitals? So Rehana clearly knows that there is a line to be drawn. I am also talking about the same thing. There is a line to be drawn. Just that. So if the point was about breaking the norm, she should not have been afraid of the law. Why not expose her whole body? So she knows clearly that a line has to be drawn. She knows that there is a Lakshman Rekha that needs to be kept. She was just trying to trigger a spark in a discussion by showing half of her body, hold the cheapest and the most derogatory part and the most
Deepa, from... So your entire response is basis the fact that you're judging her by her history. And for some of our viewers who may not know or may have forgotten, let me reiterate. You are right, she has a controversial past. There have been many controversies that she's been part of. The one, of course, was the one where she attempted to enter the Sabrimala around the time the whole Supreme Court judgment, debate was going on. There was one time where she protested against a professor who compared women's breast, a student's breast, to watermelons, and then she posed with watermelons, and she posed topless with watermelons. That triggered a controversy. There's been another controversy where she's participated in what, if I'm not mistaken, is traditionally considered a male-dominated cultural dance around the Onam festival. She was part of the Kiss of Love campaign. Okay, that's fine. She does that. She provokes thought within people. She's trying to make a point, and she's seeing how well she can reach maximum amount of people. That being said, it's not about the person, and I don't want to sit here and discuss one person. I am trying to have a larger conversation, Deepa Ishwar, about the idea what was being presented of what should be seen as sexual content and what should be normalized as just nudity or just your own body and you being comfortable with it. Now, if that distinction is something that you are on board with, that's my question. I don't want to sit and debate one activist here right now.
I think the whole point of, so are you asking me, like, what draws the line between obscenity, nudity and body art? Is that your question?
Yes.
Yeah. So I think that is what I was getting into. She is a parent. You can actually use your own ways to teach your children whatever concept you want to. But the second thing that is more important is the way this was done, as in bringing children into this. And if that is exactly the point, then let me ask her back that why is it that she's not taking a step of extreme crossing the lines? So clearly the whole idea is that she knows very well what is the line, or that there is a line between body art and nudity. So what I'm trying to say here is that the whole thing that she was semi-nude and wearing her upper body that way to her children. Of course, I do not doubt the intention of a parent or the child there. I know that is a very a very good parent-son relation. Maybe I'm not doubting that, but I'm saying the moment it's out there on a public platform, she's become irresponsible in exposing her children into that, and that has made the whole thing very complicated because the child has a whole future in himself, and what is he going to face from the society? To me, that would be, as a mother, as an activist, as a Keralite, I would feel that that is, whether it is right or wrong, whether the society is right in pointing fingers at the child is a different debate altogether. But then what I'm saying is, was it responsible for any parent to expose the child to such a complicated scenario? And isn't that an open invitation to controversies? And now she's going to knock the doors of the High Court, the Supreme Court, and then telling us that you guys are harassing us. I think she was inviting all of this. And didn't she know what she was getting into? And the worst part is, she knew what she was getting into, and she pulled
but
her.
I mean, okay, again, it's not an individual who we are going to sit and discuss, but it's the larger concept. So what if somebody is actually provoking people's thoughts and keeps getting into controversy? Can we send a person to jail just for that? No, we can't. We have to send people jail for when they break the rules. Now, is she breaking a rule? Yogita Bhayana, is this a crime under the POCSO Act? The POCSO Act, as far as I understand, is when children are it's sexual crimes against children, or when you involve them in pornographic material, or involve them in any kind of sexual act. That's when POCSO is used. Is that the perception you got when you saw this video, Yogita?
Tanvi, if it is about provoking people and booking this activist under that particular law, I think half or maybe 90% of the Bollywood should be behind the bars, because nobody more than Bollywood provokes us, our children, to vulgarity. So we are, as you said, we are discussing the larger picture here. It's her own children. I mean, for God's sake, what Deepa Ishwar is talking about, the Lakshman Rekha and the line. I mean, I'm sorry, these words, today's date, if we have to hear such things, I think shame on us. And where we are talking about sensitizing our children, if this lady is trying to prove her point, it's okay. I mean, we've been trying to do the same. We've been trying to say that children need to be educated then and there. So, I mean, since that age itself. And for God's sake, she has breastfeeded them. I mean, they have seen everything. They're children. They should be comfortable with the body. They must be comfortable with the mother's body. It's their personal understanding. And going on the public platform, it's okay, because she's an activist. She has a duty to play. She wants to sensitize people. She has been doing for years, not for the first time. I think it's her full right to do that. And about the legality, I'm not very sure about the POCSO. As the advocate was saying, under IT Act, maybe she'll be booked, she'll not be booked. I am nobody to comment on that. But on personal front, as an activist, where we talk that we need to educate our children, then where we can kind of stop this sexual violence against children, against women. We talk about that all the time. We've been pushing that gender sensitization, sex education is a must. And what as mother, who else can teach better than mother? I think she's starting with herself. It's fine. I think it's very much fine. I think people are making fun. Whatever they want to say, they can say that she is an attention seeker. Let it be. I think if they really want to raise a point, they should go to Bollywood and book each and every person who objectifies women. I don't think so. She seems to be doing that here.
Yeah, I think she's making her own point. She's making a point in an unconventional way, but is it an illegal way is the big question. Is her argument that nudity necessarily isn't obscene? Does that hold value, or does that hold any ground? Prashant Sugatan also joining us right now. Prashant, fact of the matter also is that earlier a lot of our debates of similar lines would be if something was published on the cover of a magazine or on a billboard or in a movie that's been publicly broadcast. Do the rules change if it's on your own YouTube channel? Do the rules change if it's on your own Instagram or social media handle? If people are upset with it, they don't have to look at it.
The same rules would apply even if it is on a digital media, even if it is on the internet. Yes, but we have an additional law in here, that is the Information Technology Act. But then the question here is, would Section 67B of the IT Act would apply here? In my opinion, definitely not. Section 67B is specifically on the question of material depicting children in sexually explicit act. Now here, if you look at it, that there is no case that anybody has that there is child pornography involved here. The children were fully clothed. It's only the mother, and that too in a semi-naked form. So now we're here, what we need to consider is what the courts have said over the years. In fact, in Kerala a few years back, there was a controversy when a women's magazine on their cover page had photograph of
Yeah.
a breastfeeding mother. Okay, and this again, a case was registered. It went to the High Court. What the High Court then it said was this was all, they also drew from the Emma Hussein case, which was before the Delhi High Court. The court said the beauty is in the eyes of the beholder. Same way, obscenity is also in the eyes of the beholder. The question is how people perceive it. If you could remember that there was also the case of where Facebook had censored female nipples. Any photograph with female nipples, Facebook used to censor those photographs. There was huge uproar. Uproar in, across the world with Facebook doing this censorship act. So we need to change our period. Again, if you look at the Delhi High Court as well as the Kerala High Court, both these judgments, they are referred to our past, the kind of imagery that we had. If you look at the temples, the temple art, etc., what we have in our temples. So we have such a past where we have accepted, let's say, female nude images. So when does this become obscene? So that is where you need to look at the broader pictures and also in this specific case, whether this picture or the video is obscene or not. Just because there is a nudity involved, that need not be obscene. That is.
Audio problem here, but I understand what you're saying. In fact, if I can just read out from a couple of other judgments, I believe it was the Avik Sarkar case in the year 2014, where it was even said in the judgment that only those sex-related materials that have a tendency of exciting lustful thoughts can be held to be obscene, but the obscenity has to be judged from the point of view of an average person by applying contemporary community standards. There was another case that was much before, of course, the Bobby International case in 1996, where Supreme Court had ruled that scenes depicting nudity must not be seen in isolation. They must be seen in context or the background in which they are made. Well, if that's the case, then can we really call this obscene? That becomes the big question. While keeping the background of this lady aside, that can't be your basis to judge anything. But Ranjit Maral, do you want to respond to what Deepa Raul Ishwar was asking? How do you explain this video and this whole act of drawing on her nude as sex education?
No. It was no. Let us be very clear about it. It's not about sex education. Sex education has to be something else as well. It's about making aware that the body is not a sexual tool alone. That's what. Let us be very clear about it. It's awareness. It's not sex education at all. We are all mature to understand what exactly sex education should be. Probably she had used the word sex education in her prefix to the video. And she has all said about what sex education should be, but the appropriate word should have been awareness of the body. That should be the proper English in which we would understand what her message is. And she is trying to make sure that the children who understand what exactly the body should is would not get excited by the very sight of the female body and therefore commit some crime in their future. See, mothers will have to. This is where we go back to 1800s or 1850s. Everybody, if I use the word Brahmanistic, don't feel irritated by the word I am using it. I am saying it because everybody wants to up yourself in the class. But then when you want to cite the history or historical text only for the purpose without looking forward as to what is the requirement of the society, then that is not the Brahmanistic view at all. And you cling on to say that you are the Brahmin, where by citing the Hindu ritual text, etc., I'm sorry to understand, we'll have to have it in a contemporaneous society's viewpoint. We have traveled to 2020, and then we will have to understand in the context of the constitution. Here, let us. I'm just narrating a story. You would also know. There had been a monkey trial in 1920s in United States. It's one of the most famous of all cases. That was a case in which a teacher was booked because he taught Darwinian principles of evolution. And again, they said the mob said it is against Bible, and therefore they wanted to go against the person who taught it. And it was the most celebrated of all trials. It was a circus altogether, and three-time a person who contested as the president fought it for the prosecution, and Clarence Darrow fought it, saying that this is not a crime at all. Ultimately, in the trial, he was convicted. That is the history we have been taught in in law as well. Legal history teaches at this case, and when it went to the Supreme Court says the act is constitutional, but he was acquitted for some other reasons. We do not, as a point of time, when Deepa. Okay, one more thing. Deepa says that I was aware what is legal, what is not legal. Yes, I am aware what is legal, and therefore I have done only what is legal. Yes. I have not done anything illegal. Therefore, I have drawn the line. I have understood this. I am a performance artist. I have ignited the thought today. Therefore, this thought will have to, which has given this spark, will have to be debated.
No,
debated all over.
I understand, which is why I didn't ask you on that, because obviously that argument doesn't hold true. You obviously know what you thought is legal, and you've stayed well beyond that line as per your own understanding. But then, isn't it correct what the Kerala High Court observed, that after watching the picture painted by the children, I have no hesitation to appreciate the talents of children. They deserve encouragement, but not in the way the petitioner encouraged them by uploading this video. The petitioner, when shot and uploaded these videos in social media, also claims she wants to teach sex education to children in the society. So are you saying that's been misreported? Or it's not connected?
It's not. No, let us be very clear about the High Court can go wrong. And I can only say as an anecdote would be that Tilak, this is a country where Tilak was, Bal Gangadhar Tilak was convicted, even after being defended by Muhammad Ali Jinnah, one among the best lawyers of the nation. Now, having said this, the High Court would have thought it to be in its perception, or his lordship's perception, he would have thought it is not correct or not legally correct. That is why we are in the Supreme Court. Maybe the morality in which the Hippocratic, people in Kerala, let us be very fair about the Keralites, they are all hypocrites. They may say something, they say they are more secular. They are the most secular people available in the whole nation, but they are not. They do not want to have a better culture, or rather a better society. They would always cling on to their religious values and cite something else to be called secular. They do not want to really bring up secularity in the state at all.
Okay, Deepa Ishwar wanted to respond. Please go ahead, and then we go across to Annie Raja, who's also joining us right now. Yes, Deepa first.
Yeah, just a couple of points. One is clearly sex education was not, the word sex education was not misquoted by the Honorable High Court. Rehana has multiple times said that this was sex education, that she thought it was sex education. She understood it's not going to fly, so now we are using another term, which is sex awareness, if that's what Ranjit sir was saying now. Okay, let it be, it is sex awareness. But how do you exactly think that by doing this, a child would not get excited by seeing another woman's body? Do you really think that a boy would grow up to see every woman or every woman's body like his mother's body? So what exactly is the kind of awareness that she was trying to give, or what sort of depth of thought has gone into that activity is what I'm struggling to find a logic here, because
I hope he doesn't see every woman's body like that. But he doesn't have to see every woman's body as if it's something to be acquired and feasted upon and to be sexually aroused by.
I cannot understand that why
it's to normalize a body so that you don't get sexually aroused at the basic sight of a little bit of skin that a woman shows.
But how is that going to be tackled by doing this? Is what I'm asking. Her son will definitely see her as a mother, but how can that be used as a yardstick that going forward he will grow up by not getting excited when he sees the skin of another woman? Another woman's skin is another woman's skin. If he's a normal boy, he'll grow up to feel excited about it. It's up to him to keep his emotions under control. That's what we should teach him. It's not by exposing a mother's body in front. I think that was an
Yogita wants to respond to you. Okay, fair point. Yogita wants to respond to you.
Who is Deepa Ishwar to say that how a mother wants to raise a child, how she wants to teach, where she wants to teach her own children? It's not lines and boundaries. Please do away with it.
Can I just hear Yogita Bhayana, please? Can I please hear Yogita Bhayana? Deepa Ishwar, if you talk over here, I won't be able to hear either of you. Please, yes, Yogita Bhayana.
Tanvi, high time even Deepa Ishwar has to do away with the language like Lakshman, Rekha, boundaries. You know, she's still talking this kind of a language. Today's era, we are trying to push women's rights up, and we are struggling for women's rights. And the people like her on television speaking like Lakshman, Rekha, boundary, you know, all these things. And I'm sorry, it's she is a mother. I mean, Rehana is a mother of her children, and she has all the right to teach whichever way she wants to. Nobody, in that sense, you should peep into each and every house and go and see how the mothers are teaching and how mothers are raising. So you have no right to interfere there. It's a personal prerogative, and please stop judging all the women like that. You know, and stop using this vocabulary of Lakshman Rekha, for God's sake. It's my hand-folded request to you.
Why is it that I'm not supposed to use Lakshman Rekha? There is
Yeah, so what it seems like is at the end of the day,
I cannot use a decent word like Lakshman Rekha on national media. I don't understand what's wrong there. And two, I did not walk into Rehana Fathima's house or tell her that you are not supposed to raise your children like this. She has put it up on media. She's put it up on a public platform for anyone over 18 years of age to log in and watch. And I am 35. I am above age of 18. I can walk in and see that. So I have a right to my own opinion. I don't understand what is wrong here. I'm sorry. If she can do that, I think I'm very well within my level.
That's fine. You do have a right to your own opinion. You do have a right to your own opinion. You have a right to even dislike the content that she has put, but your right to dislike content doesn't necessarily mean that she has to go to jail for that. Now, the simple question that I asked is, did you find it obscene?
Yes, I did. Personally,
okay,
I found
let me ask that question to Annie Raja. Okay, let me ask that question to Annie Raja. Good evening to you, Annie Raja. The big debate is about whether or not a video that shows a mother being painted upon by her own child can be considered as obscene. Whether a mother who's trying to normalize the idea of being in that condition, in a semi-nude condition, and a child is drawing on her, can that really be considered obscene to the point that you book her under POCSO and send her to jail?
You see, unfortunately, this all incident has happened in the land of Kerala, where once upon a time the women didn't have the right to cover their breast, upper part of their body, and many struggles were waged, and many women sacrificed their life to have the right to cover their body or wear a blouse. And now the situation has come in the year 2020 that whether the Rehana Fathima is booked under POCSO or not. So I think the whole problem is that women's body is viewed or considered as an object and as only a sexual object. That is where the entire question or entire issue lies. If you look at, for them it's a very normal thing. For that mother and those her children, it's a very normal thing. It has not suddenly has, it was their dealings, their behavior, their interactions must be there. That is and this is one of the thing which they have done. It is not, I don't think it is all on a sudden accused by many people that she is having to have some sexual pleasure. She used her children like this. I don't think so. So the core issue is the women's body is considered as or treated as an object. Look at what High Court said. They said if it is okay inside four walls of their house. So that, what does it mean? I think if even that judge even that court is very uncomfortable about women's body, that is why if it is in four walls of the house, then it is okay. Why did they put it in the social media? Nobody asked anyone to watch that. She did not force me to watch that. If you wish, you watch. And so the same court, we must understand, the same court in Hadia case said a 23-year-old girl has, she doesn't know, she is not capable of taking a decision on her about her marriage. This is the court, we must understand. So I think there is no ground, and we must, I am sure that after 10 years down the line, we will all appreciate, we will all really recognize what Rehana has done now. And it is because of the patriarchal mentality, not only of men, but also of women. And जो मनुवादी सोच जो हम बताती है ना कि महिला है कि संस्कृति महिला होना चाहिए, घरेलू महिला होना चाहिए, पूरा कवर करके होना चाहिए. These are all the arguments against women when they come out. Here in this case, Rehana has challenged many traditional things, many orthodox things, even that entire Sabarimala thing, you know, you in your channel also you discussed about that. So it all depends upon who is taking a lead, who is taking, or who is saying, who is taking a thing differently
shouldn't you be
from
raising
others.
this issue with the government? Shouldn't the government get the case withdrawn if that's your view? Shouldn't the progressive government of Kerala withdraw this case? How is it in Kerala that we are again and again seeing such cases? There was a similar instance, and Prashant was talking about it a short while ago. We had debated it even then when on the cover of a magazine a woman was showing breastfeeding, and there was so much outrage and action against the magazine. Why does this happen if our view is to move ahead and to give women this freedom?
Yes, that's what even women groups and women activists, they have all come out and saying that what the police is doing is injustice. And yes, I know that there are a lot of people who are opposing her because of she dared to challenge many things, and her statements and of action. It is she dared to think and act differently ahead of time. That is the thing that the Kerala society might not be able to, or may not be able to digest. Unfortunately, I am sorry to say, but people are women groups, even progressive forces are there. They are actually. I understand that they have approached the government also to place their points of view. So this is what I understand. I think a progressive government, left progressive government should take such a position. This is what I, as a women activist, I strongly feel.
Okay. All right. Last comment from Prashant as well on this. Prashant, I know you made your legal point very clear on it. One argument that was being presented here was this woman's intention. What was her motive behind putting this? Knowing her history, the fact that she gets into a series of controversies, can that be presented as an argument in the court as well?
Definitely. See, what she has done earlier, the Sabarimala issue, all that is not relevant as far as this case is concerned. This case, we should restrict it to the facts of this case law. What was there? What did she publish on YouTube? What was the video about? Was there any indecent exposure which results in it being treated as child pornography? That is the question to be considered. Even when this is being uploaded on the internet, whether it will come under the purview of Section 67B of the IT Act, that is the question. The High Court observed that it could be treated as facilitating abuse of children. That would be a far-fetched argument, is what I would like to say. This can, by no stretch of imagination, be considered to be child pornography, or something where there is no indecent exposure as far as the children is. So that is the main issue over here. which has been, I think, overlooked by the High Court in that order. So yes, whether I don't think.
Yes, it's
if you
interesting
look at the
because the
provisions of the
High Court
provisions of
also
the
has
POCSO
said
Act
that it's very interesting art, and that the children should be encouraged with their art. And if that is the case, I don't know why the High Court didn't decide anything on the usage of the POCSO Act. The fact of the matter is, you've heard it from the experts here, these charges don't hold any ground in the light of what's there in the video. The video, viewers, is simply about two children there with their mother. The son is drawing on the semi-nude body, the top half of the body of his mother. What's visible is half a body painted already by the child. This is the video she's put up because she wants to normalize a woman's body. She wants to say that you need to separate it from just being viewed as a sexual object, and that her children need to be brought up with that kind of a thought process, so that every time you see a woman showing a little bit of skin or even topless, you shouldn't necessarily have sexual responses. If you do, then you are the pervert, and that's not the video's fault. That's the point this lady is trying to make. Does that now mean that she's broken a law because of obscenity in a video? Is this obscene? Should she go to jail with that? I understand people may not like it. There is enough and more content there, like one of our panelists was saying, including a lot of content in Bollywood, which is highly objectionable to many people. It's regressive, it objectifies women, it mocks women. Half the time they're only there for skin show and uses them in every possible manner just to gain some eyeballs. Why are those people never put behind bars? Because that's not how the law works. In this case, this woman is fighting and has now reached the Supreme Court. Let's wait and watch what happens in the court. But your morality and benchmark for your morality and ethics may be different from mine. The idea is to let it change. The idea is to let everybody have their own view without reaching a point where you want to send somebody to jail because you don't agree with their viewpoint. Thank you so much for joining us on this conversation.